live now. Let's see how this goes. Just keeping an eye on the Facebook event. Just had the biggest struggles just trying to get that set up just in the last 10 minutes. Since I'm here anyway, thought I might as well go right on the stream live right now and resume the Shroom live that's been missing for the last couple of months. So if you guys are hearing this, yeah, let me know. I still cannot hear myself, so I'll just continue to just speak really slow and see if that's going to come through. All right, so that might be coming through now on that stream. So that doesn't look like it's working. Okay, there we go. We've got some comments coming through now. G'day Wagdy. Hannah, he says, hearing you loud and clear. We've got some food in the house as well. What's up? He says, yo. All right. Finally. Oh, I've been excited to come back, guys. It's been really busy with that fishing hub live stream, so I haven't been able to just find the time. Just been trying to get more footage on the Saturday, but tonight, the perfect opportunity to start back on the podcast, so that throughout this summer period, where we've got some entertainment. Like I said about a minute earlier, I'm going to be back live next week too. So yeah, doing that for you, Louis. He says, you, Shroom Club member. How's it going, Louis? How's your week been? If you caught anything, been going for a fish. Guys, oh wow, that last video that I posted on Thursday, that was a dream come true. Nailing that mulloway on that hard body. Yeah, if you guys watched that, you'll know how excited I was. The second it popped its head up out of the water, I was like, are you kidding me? Is that really what I think it is? I probably need glasses, but I could tell from a distance that chrome, it was that fish, that special apex, top of the food chain. It's that fish of dreams, And I gotta say, I've caught plenty of these mulloway on plastics, yeah, and a couple on bait here and there, soaking a squid, for example. But I'll tell you what, I've been trying at night for probably the last at least 3 years, 4 years. Not every night, but plenty of nights in the winter, trying to tick it off, because I've heard that if you get one on a hard body at night, it's going to be massive. It's going to be, we're talking 80 centimeter plus. So a meter fish isn't rare if you can get one on a big diver. And there's obviously a special way to do it, because obviously I'm not doing it right, hence why I still haven't ticked it off at night. But the idea is that you got to get out there when the mullet are congregating at night under the lights, and there's certain places in every system, that light brings them there, and they're congregating just before they start running out to sea, where they're going to meet up pretty much on the beaches and start mass producing, mass breeding. And so it's that time when they're just getting ready to head down. I think it's more like the end of autumn when they do that. That you've got that small window where all the mulloway are looking up, and you're more likely to nail one casting these really large, shallow divers in mullet colors. I guess any color works really. And from what I heard, it's not a matter of what you're doing with the lure. It's more of being in the right place at the right time. I guess I was never in the right place at the right time, but how does that go? I put all that time in, solo on the river, cold winter nights, and it happens in the middle of the Parramatta River in the daytime on the brim hard body, and there's like people walking their dogs, pushing their babies, and there's a crowd of people. I'm not sneaking around in those early hours of the morning. And yeah, that made my week. So yeah. So make sure, you check out that check out that video. I don't think I'm ever gonna forget that. So what an experience. I'm still gonna put time in. Still gonna put time in. Maybe this summer you can still catch them, at night, anytime. But you just have that elevated chance at that stage when the mullet are running. And yeah, before I continue on the Shroom Live podcast, if it's your first time here, we generally hang out once a month. So yeah, come along one of these Saturday evenings, 7:30, like El Hadj is doing. Thank you, brother. He's dropped a donation in support of the stream. Thanks a lot. Really appreciate that. And yeah, so we got a bit of a community going here as well. So Anthony's here as well. Anthony Cox says hopefully a bonito next time. Yeah, that's right. So if you have been following the news, I was invited onto the Australian fishing podcast hosted by Greg and Greg Vinyl, Doc Lewis. That's also his name. So Doc Lewis, Greg Vinyl, and I really appreciate it, mate. I had a great time. He made it easy. I just really I really respect him, and yeah, it was a fantastic experience there. So on that podcast, I mentioned that he asked me a question of what species or what fish that you'd like to catch that you haven't caught before, and I said I hadn't caught a bonito before. Now, I don't know if bonito is on the top of anybody's list, but for me, I'm a simple guy. Even something like a bonito, which is basically shark bait, I've never caught one. Out of all the times that I've been, in and around the inner reefs, say, long reef and artificial, and just fishing around the heads and all that, you'd think that you would have come across a bonito by now. No, sir. No, sir. I have not. Even despite the amount of kings that are probably numbering at least in the hundreds, one of these has been a bonito. So that's a cool fact. A bit of trivia there, a bit of shrimp trivia. I better attend to the chat and see what's up here. So just making sure everything's going fine there. All right, let me just go click on this. So let's, plenty of people in the house, so I'll just go straight into the questions. So for the next probably hour and a half, I'm going to be here. Captain Salty Bone says, hey mate, can I have a shout out? Well, there you go. I hadn't read it yet, and I just picked that one straight up. I'm dumb says, sup. All right, geez, there's all kinds of weird names in my live stream sometimes. Let's go find a serious question here. Fishing with David says, I can't hear, LOL. All right, now that's happened once upon a time. So that's actually what happened, I think, in one of my first 5 live streams. So definitely make a lot of noise and start posting up if anything like that happens, because I'll notice on my other screen there. And let's just attend to this one here. And Brownie has dropped a donation. Thank you very much, brother. Let's just put that up. Put that up for you, mate. Regular on the channel. Dave Austin, he's here too. He says, hi, bro. Dave, we've got to do something. Thanks for inviting me on the podcast again. Just like on the Australian Fishing Podcast, I was on Dave Austin's podcast as well. Had a great time, great chat. I remember getting interviewed. He was in the back of his car. I can't remember where I was. It was just like, let's get this going. This is the only time that we could get together. So yeah, I really appreciate that. Fishing with David's got a question here, and he says, have you fished down Victoria side for Flathead, like Gippsland area? Actually, no, I haven't. I'd actually like to go down, and I see a lot of videos from Western Port. I really want to go there and maybe chase a few big squid or a mulloway. The Gippsland, I think I've seen a few videos where they catch a lot of black brim in that area. That kind of looks like a really nice area to maybe tick off my first true black brim. Some people say that I've caught them in the Georges. I remember Steve Starling said that that the one that I'd caught in the Georges was most definitely a black brim, just the way that it looked, the characteristics, the coloration, etc., etc. He's probably right. I totally agree with that, but I'd like to go down to Victoria and tick off, that black brim down that way too, and see what it's all about. All right, here we go. Wagdy Hannah says Middle Harbour caught many. So this is obviously referring to Bonito. How do I know that? Because everyone that I fish with down that way has caught a Bonito all around me, and for some reason I just would be the only guy that would not pull one up. I'd pull up anything but maybe a salmon if it was my turn to hook up, or a king. All right, let's keep going down. Dominic Menassi says, "Hey, Master Shroom." Oh, thanks. I'm no master. Blessing my Saturday night. That's right. Michael's here. He says, "How's it going? Good to have the stream back." Absolutely. I'm happy to be back. Yeah, let me know if you want me to speed up or slow down in my speech pattern. I think someone said that I was a little bit more relaxed on the Australian Fishing Podcast. So I'm trying to exude that in this stream. But it's been a while. Maybe blow out a few of the cobwebs here and there. The only practice that I've been doing is practicing my my pumping up kings along Botany Bay with Stewie in that last video, and then walking. Plenty of walking along the Parramatta River, getting in and around all kinds of places. I reckon I walked at least 5 kilometers that day. It felt like walking around Thompson Creek Dam chasing trout. That's how much I walked back and forth trying to raise a fish. And just when I was about to pack up with my tail between my legs, thought I'd go for one more cast. Got a hit, dropped that fish. Didn't know what it was at that time. And then finally that next cast. Oh, beautiful. Stuff of dreams. I'll probably use up my luck for the next couple of months. So I don't know what kind of quality videos I'm going to be producing. But just to let you guys know, I've been trying to make a video using the new Berkeley Power shrimps, the 2-inch version. See how they go for the Brembos. I did film a few vlogs. Every time I've fished with them, I've caught something. But the most successful time that I'd been out with them, I ended up losing the footage somehow. Not quite sure why it ended up that way. I transferred it to the computer and had a look, and I thought, yeah, okay, it's there. The folder's all there. And then I come back the next day and it's all gone. So gonna have to look into that. Manjeet says, "Love the videos. Keep up the good work, mate." Thank you very much. Max says, "Shroom need the real secrets where to buy hood cheap squid jiggos." I mean, there's always specials in the local independent tackle stores. They always have, 5 for like 45, 5 for 50. Yamashita. I like to use the Yamashita jigs. There are, there are better jigs on the market, but Yamashita is like the standard for me. And what is it? Even the basic ones, the basic ones that you get for about $8 to $10 each, pretty much anywhere, and they come on special rather regularly. That's that's where I'd spend that's where I normally get my jigs. Nev's Fishing's here. He says, "Shroom, when's the Victoria tour coming?" Hey, look, Nev, I love to come down there, and when I do, certainly we'll hook up and we'll get something happening. Victoria, now that the lockdown and all that stuff's starting to subside, maybe this summer we'll see. I really want to experience fishing down that way. Those hoods that you catch, unbelievable. And those snapper. Like fishing in Sydney, my PB is probably around in the 40s or 50s. The ones you catch are like 70, 80, 90. Yeah, fantastic. Imagine that. Like a big red brim. Massive. And Brownie says, "Hey Shrooms, what's the deepest diver you use?" Diver? I mean, divers don't really dive all that deep. You can get the double deep versions of... Not too many lure brands make a double deep, but... for example, the Atomics that I like to use for the Brembos, we're looking at about 2 to 2.5 meters. If you're optimizing, really light leaders, super long casts, and favorable conditions with not much flow and a good winding technique, you can get it down quite far, but I don't know about anything deeper than that. Maybe some trolling lures, but that's a different kettle of fish there. So offshore, you might tie on a big, deep Rapala, and I don't know how deep they go. Probably 4 meters, I would say, at a guess. But yeah, but don't quote me on that one. Next up here, so David says the blacks down our way are a bit smart or wiser compared to your yellows. Whoa, all right, who's from Sydney? Who catches yellows? Who wants to come in a bat for me here? Reckons that the blacks are a little bit smarter. Well, that could be true, actually. That could be true. He says we have the brim down here, which the Bem River, yeah, which is, I mean, you guys have everything down that way. Is Malakuta a part of it, or is that the south of New South Wales? I could just picture where it is. I think it's just a little bit above, but I could be wrong. I could get shreked in the comments here for not knowing exactly where Malakuta is, which is like one of the golden places to chase brim. Levi says, I'm going fishing tonight, like right after this stream. Well, good luck. Guys, I might actually be heading out right after this stream, by the way, just to let you know. Michael Kang says, hey, mate, have you tried to catch hairtails before? If so, any tips, as I heard it's going to heat up in Newcastle soon. I hear about it every year in Newcastle. People go up in their droves at night. Is it Newcastle Harbour that I keep hearing reports on? I've done a fair few sessions chasing hairtail. Not always successful. It's always been on the Hawkesbury River. It's always been when it's bone-chilling cold. We're talking that it's so cold that you walk out the door, you don't want to go out. You got to get there before the sun goes down so that you kind of pot committed. And then I'm using about 30 pound gear. It almost doesn't matter what leader you're using. They're going to slice you up. So I just use a basic 30 pound leader onto gang hooks, put a fresh pilchard on hole, and just start playing the game. So dangle that down. You're gonna see, if you shine your torch in the water and they're around, you'll see like all kinds of reflections in the water. And I think from what I've been told and what I've read, they feed in a very strange way. They don't hit your bait like side on. They like to come underneath. And say, for example, if my microphone is my pilchard, they come up and then they kind of like get their mouth around, they kind of rotate and get that bait off the hook. And so you can play like I call it kind of like a mini game. You kind of bob your bait up slowly and you try to feel when it's just grabbed onto your bait, and then you set that hook. And if it lets go, you just gradually lower back down that bait on the same cast. So we're not doing anything. So it's like, you kind of feel the weight, and you go, here we go, strike. Okay, no, drop it, slowly. And then you just keep doing until you feel like that proper hook up. And you got to get it in quick. So, like, I don't even think it matters what what leader you're using. I just use 30 pound because it's just, quick and easy for me. And if you get sliced up, you get sliced up. Because people next to me that are using wire, they're still getting sliced up. So I mean, I think wire does help a little bit more, but you're still getting sliced up no matter what you're doing. Some people just go for a single hook. You can do it with pilchard cubes as well. Yeah, super fun. You get one of these fish and it's like a meter. And I think my PV is at around 1.64 or something like that. They get bigger than that. I think they get to over 2 meters, but that's a good fish, and they're good on the chew too. So out of all the fish that I've caught, I haven't kept many. Never kept a mulloway. I've kept a few kingfish, and I definitely did keep a few hairtail just to just to have a taste, and they taste pretty good. Pretty good. They're pretty good on the chew. Fried, I think it's pan fried. Pretty nice crispy skin, all that. Then the bones are a little bit small, but yeah, pretty good. And yeah, let's get back to some fishing talk. Why am I talking about food? I barely do any keeping of fish. George A says best reel or rod under $300. Look, there's so many things on the market, but it's hard to recommend just one thing. But let's just limit it to say lure fishing. What I would use, like right now for under $300, I'm looking at from Shimada. I like the Zodius. Looks fantastic. The 2020 looks like a spaceship. So so sleek. CI4 plus handle. They're extremely light, really strong for their rating as well. So that's something you got to keep in mind. So always like hold in the hand to see, if that's what you think a 2 to 4 feels like, or a 1 to 3. Each brand has its own different feel. And I do also like from Daiwa that it's a little bit cheaper, the Generation Black. So a little bit from a different price bracket. The $300 range bracket, I think Daiwa, they have the TD0. That's a really nice rod. I've fished that as well. But yeah, you can't go wrong with a Gen Black. I actually like that 2020 version. I've got the limited. It's a bit older, but yeah, I wish I'd waited a bit longer and got the carbon fiber spaceship looking rod. And reels, $300. I'm looking at the Stratic FFL if I wanted a tough reel, or the Vanford. The Vanford these days are under $300. The price has gone down, so you can get both those fantastic reels there. And yeah, Daiwa, just whichever light reel you like. But if you're looking for a tougher reel, what's that one called? The BG, not the BG monocoque body, the MQ one that's just come out, but the one before it. I think that might still be the existing one. That is fantastic. Can't go wrong with that. Metal construction, metal body. It's gonna last. You can throw around the boat, throw it around, and it's just gonna. It can't be beaten, I'd say. Those real Stratics, BGs, and all that, tanks of a reel. You know, Stratic's super smooth. Obviously, a little bit higher in the price. I wish I got one. I'm still using the CI4s because they just keep going. I've got the second gen CI4 Plus from Shimano, and I would have upgraded by now, but they're going hard. They're catching me plenty of fish, and can't wait for the date. Can't wait for the day that they start showing a bit more wear, and I can justify upgrading, at least upgrading to the newer model. And yeah, let me put this up. And Brownie, thank you very much, brother. He's supporting the stream there with the donation. And guys, if you're enjoying the show, make sure you smash that like button. It really helps me out. And yeah, watch my regular vlog videos as well. And I don't know what they've done. They've taken away the dislike button on YouTube. I don't know what I feel about that. I don't mind seeing it, seeing that bar. No, tells me when I'm doing good and tells me when I'm doing not so good. But anyway, Angelo says, why is your name Shroom? My name's Shroom because it sounds, it's a bit of a play on my surname. My surname sounds like fungus. And so fungus, so I went with Shroom. So that's why. And people call me Shroom. The Shroom. Shrooms. Shroomy boy. Shroomy. Yep, that's me. Shroom at your service. Gonna take you to the promised lands. Gonna take you to the prime breeding grounds, guys. You guys know what happened in that last video. That gentleman came up to me, and yeah, I knew he wanted I won't say pick a bone with me, but kind of like, hey, let's have some fun. He was thinking, there, I'll have some fun with this dude here. Let's just ruffle up his feathers a bit, and I could sense where he was going, but it was all good fun. I think at the end you could see there when he wished me good luck. That twinkle in his eye, you knew straight away. It's a bit of gamesmanship right then and there. Bit of tit for tat fun. All right, Army Rain says, would you go fishing on a rainy day? Absolutely. There's plenty of videos on the channel where it's been bucketing down, and I've been fishing in the rain with pretty much wet weather gear all day. And sometimes I don't even get a video, so you guys won't even see when I just get drenched and have nothing to show for that. But I've got I'm gonna work on a few videos fishing in the rain. So Army Rain, look out for that. I think you're gonna like what you're gonna see coming up this summer. Old BG Brown and Gold is a bang for buck reel. Absolutely. I mean those reels that stand the test of time. That name, it's a classic. So Black and Gold, like who hasn't heard of Black and Gold? And it's it's no wonder. It's a fantastic reel, and if they just keep true to that name, that badge, I'm a fan. I'm a fan of that reel. Just like the name Stratic. When I hear that, I think, yep, tough workhorse reel. It's gonna do the job. It's like any of my other Stratics. It's like that 6000 FJ that I use for Kings. It's like my CI4 pluses. It's like, etc. etc. It's like sustain. It's that kind of quality classic reel. Everyone talks about it, and for good reason. Cast 1000 says, I see a dislike button on my YouTube. Yeah, there is. They don't count it anymore though, so it's hard to know what's going on. Even I don't know what's going on there. Michael Germer's added to the nickname list the Shroominator. Oh yeah, like the Shroominator. What is it? Shroomsman, Shroom Dog. There's a few going around in the members tab on rotation. Angelo says, yeah, the Shroom, love your content, brother. That last Dewey on lure was sick. Yeah, I don't know if I can ever do it again. How could I top that? But we'll top it in other ways. We'll top it in other ways. More mulloway coming to the channel, more kingfish coming to the channel, and for your brim lovers like me, more brim videos, more flathead videos. Going to be doing some surface fishing coming up shortly as well. Yeah, plenty of things. This is summer. The lockdown's over. Stay safe, of course. Stay safe. I've got my, wearing my fishing buff, my masks everywhere I go. It's just when I'm filming, I take it off so that, you're not seeing that blue disposable napkin on my face. But yeah, time to fish. Time to make up for lost time. Shroom star. That's a good one. And Browdy. David says, did you find it hard when you started YouTube? Now, oh yeah, it's hard. Everything's hard. Everything's hard. Was it hard to gain views and subs? How did you go about creating content? Yeah, I'll be quick with this one, but it's always hard. No matter anything you do in life, it's hard. You got to apply yourself 110%. I can go back now and go to some of my earlier videos, and I still have only got about 40 views on them. Can you believe that? I have videos on my channel that have less than 100 views still. They're fishing, so hard work. Philip, hey, how's it going, buddy? He says, sorry I'm late. All good, Philip. Good to see you here. Hope you're having a wonderful evening. Trying to bring the fun into your lounge rooms, everybody, or yeah, wherever you are, rolled up in bed, or just sitting on the couch, or sitting on the dunny. There's probably a few people there. Michael says, mate, given you mentioned about cooking fish, will we ever see a catch and cook video from you? If it's going to happen shortly, it's going to happen during the summer. I think it would be a good time. I want to do a catch and cook. So, yeah, high chance of that this next 3-month period. And Brownie says, when doesn't he go fishing? He is in the rain more than not lately. Yeah, you'll see that my footwear's waterproof. My pants, rain rolls off it. My shirt, I wear that black jacket that's, waterproof. Like I'm basically ready to just fish in some rain if it comes. So it doesn't stop me really. Especially if I see a reason for the fish to be on the bite during the rain periods as well. So that's why. Got to get out there sometimes. So river mouths, all that stuff, canals, anywhere where the water's a bit clear and starts to mix around. Head out there during the rain, because you'll find out shortly within the first 5-10 casts whether you're wasting your time and you should just go back home, or it's on for young and old. And yeah, when it's on, like anyone that fishes a lot of rain knows that when it's on, it literally is on. Blender Boy says, what do you think is the best lure for flathead? Look, I made a top five lures for flathead at some stage during the lockdown. If you ask me right now, put a gun to my head what lure I picked first up, I think it was the 80mm squidgy fish. That one I caught probably 3 fish in the 80cm plus class. So I think it was a 3/8 ounce 80mm squidgy fish with a 14-pound leader. The coloration, the colorway of the lure was called Silver Fox. Silver Fox is a mullet style pattern. 2 of them in the 80s, and one of them being my current PB still, and I haven't come close to beating that since. That currently stands at 92.5, and that's the one that you see me holding up on the channel banner. I don't know if I'll ever beat that in Sydney, but anyway, that's I'm happy with I was so happy with that fish, and it's like that brim that I caught. I don't think I'll ever beat it, but that's okay. That lure was down for to those 3 fish. My top 3 fish came on that one. Now, just for others that might be interested in more lures relating to flathead, I also like the Berkeley Gulp 5-inch jerk shad in nuclear chicken. Like everyone knows, nuclear chicken is just the perfect color for flatties from the Gulp series. And if you combine that with a fast sinking long lure, most flathead just can't say no. They just come in and they smash it on the drop. That lure made the list because I would say that all the sessions that I've done, that one's got me the most, like number wise. Like I can't even remember. I think some of these sessions we're looking at like 10, 20 plus fish. So yeah, really effective. It's got that scent. It's pretty good on the drift because it glides down, and bright colors don't seem to deter Flathead at all. So throw all those combinations, those factors in, and you have a really effective plastic. And yeah, you can work it like Flathead, like a really aggressive retrieve as well. So a double lift, but a more pronounced lift where you're trying to rip the fish's head off. That'll catch fish. You can be more subtle. You can do one large, massive lift. Some people do that. Those plastics, you can work them fast or slow. They're very hydrodynamic, so they'll allow you to do whatever you want, really. Cast 1000 says, lots of rain about this week. Will you even get out for a fish? Yeah, thinking about heading out right after this show, actually. I don't know if I'll get anything. I have been doing a lot of fishing at night in the past. It's just recently I have not. Hey, look at who's in the house. Jorge's in the house. Oh, yeah. How's it going? He says, woo. How's it going, Jorge? Hope you're having a good week. And Brown, yeah, that's right. When doesn't he go fishing? That's right. When doesn't he? He's in the rain more often. Yeah. Did I read that comment already? Because if it is, that's not good. Let me scroll down. What's this? Pizza Boy Pear is spelling out something. Can't quite read that one. All right, let me just scroll down here. Tony's here from Facebook. Oh, there we go. Got some Facebook buddies showing through here. So it means that I didn't share that post for no reason on there. Let me just refresh and check what's going on there. And while I do that, guys, yeah, make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and let's just see. All right, yeah, we got some people coming up here. Oh, there's Jorge's here too. Jeez, that's good. He says knock knock. Who's there, Jorge? And Tony's there too. All right, cool. All right, so we'll leave that simmering in the background there. Come back to the main thing on my podcast here. So, all right, Jorge, you legend. Look, really appreciate you've been the most strong of supporters, and I got no words to describe what you mean to me and to the show, and I'm sure the viewers really appreciate what you're doing to keep to keep the Shroom Live podcast and everything else that I'm doing going. It's tough sometimes, and just a bit appreciation just makes you go that extra distance, and that's why I spend the effort that I do. Even though tonight I could have gone straight, I could have gone out fishing. I thought, look, I owe it to my viewers. It's been a while. I've been preoccupied with the Fishing Hub live podcast. I've been invited on to, a few other podcasts in the meantime, including, the AFL, the Australian Fishing Podcast from Greg Vinyl. So just mentioning that again, if you missed the start of the stream, all those things that are going. I've got my diehard supporters that will come on a Saturday evening here, and so that's why that's why it means a lot. And thanks, Jorge. Thanks again. Now, Flaming Bogan says, hey mate, would you recommend hard bodies or soft plastics for beginners to lure fishing? That's a really hard question, because if anyone's watched some of my hard body videos, you know that I wouldn't say that it doesn't take you don't have to be proficient at using the hard bodies so much as more. It's more on, can you follow instructions? If you can follow the instructions in the video, which says, do this by winding it down at this speed with the rod tip down at this particular angle, and cast that towards A, B, and C types of habitat, then you really couldn't go wrong. And that'd be the easiest style of fishing that you could do, honestly. Because with 6 hook points, if a fish is hitting that lure, you almost don't even need to set the hook, right? they catch themselves. But then again, there's one problem with using hard bodies. I don't know if you guys have noticed in a lot of my top 5 lure videos, I don't necessarily recommend, the latest and greatest lures if it's going to cost $30. The average person is like me, not made of money, wants to go out and have fun, but at the same time, you don't want to lose 3 $20 lures or a couple of $30 lures and have that, pretty much surpass the price of the reel or rod you're using. I mean, that's not a good day out. So that's why I always recommend the plastics first. And if I do make a hard body lure video, then yeah, I'll tell you when you should be throwing it and when you shouldn't, because at the end of the day, it's just, you know, economical. It's just you don't want to be throwing lures where you might lose the first 5 before you actually understand how it works. Yeah, but definitely those divers, you can't go wrong, especially if you pick the right areas like the ones that I've said, you know, throughout the video. Oh, those days when they're switched on, you'll probably catch double digit fish at least. Even if you don't know what you're doing really, you could just turn up at the right time and they're switched on to a moving bait. And the only thing you have to be worried about is, did you bring pliers to extract those hooks? Yaz says, my profile, what's that? Is that a kingfish or something? Dijan says, Shroom, when you go for kingies on dead yakkers, would you fillet them and use them as strips, butterfly, or out whole? You know, everyone's got their own thing when it comes to dead baits. I haven't really used yakker fillets for kings. I just find that if they're not taking my yakkers live, then I generally don't try with them dead. So, but I have discussed this with AKA Mike a few times. We've decided to, well, actually we were going to do a bait fishing video one of these nights. Maybe it'll be coming up in the future. And yakker fillets fresh, perfect. You catch plenty of brim and Jewies. So if Jewies take them, you know, kings will take them too. But you know, overall, I think live yakkers, anything live that can kick and dance in front of a king is going to get its interest. That's why lures are so effective on them, you see, because movement just triggers them, and they're not afraid to show their face up and have a look. Mulloway, on the other hand, they're more elusive, so you won't see them. I've never really seen Mulloway up until that last video. I could make out the shape of them. I could count the amount of Mulloway hunting in groups. I didn't mention that in a video because it was more for me to just kind of absorb. That was the first real experience of seeing something that is extremely rare, and people walking by just that, and unless they're fishermen, they wouldn't comprehend, you know, like what that would mean. But to me, that was like seeing gold in front of me. It was like an open encyclopedia that was revealing all its secrets. And I just, after I caught that fish, obviously I fished until dark, but I didn't get another one because I was talking to somebody else that saw me catch a fish there, and just, you know, just making friends, really just talking. And my eyes were just like open, like a goldfish or whatever you call them, like really large, and just trying to absorb in everything that I was seeing, from the splashes to the sound of the hits on the water, to seeing and trying to count how many like waves, you know, that they were making, how big the school was, what size they must have been, trying to think of, you know, having caught one now, what can I take home from this? Like, what can I take away? Like the conditions, could I replicate this? Could this be, is there a piece of the puzzle here that I'm noticing that I never noticed before? And so this is only my first experience. So I'm in the observation phase right now. So basically everything that I told you was kind of how, like how I address it. But yeah, I don't know how I ended up talking about that, but we were talking about yakkers. Yakkers. I've seen you know, Dave, he's a regular on the channel. We've used butterflied yakkers before. I think we got a few sharks, and I think that was it. A few PJs, Port Jackson sharks, those big puppy dogs. But no kings on them just yet. Anyway, let's go find the next question here. Hooray, there says something. Says, okay, all right, here we go. Shane's got something. Hey, Shroom, have you ever tried Halco? I thought he was going to say Halco metals. Halco soft plastics. Never heard of them. I've caught a couple of good fish on the Mad Eye paddle prawn. Interesting story. I know a little bit about this that people will not know about. So, because I've been fishing lures for such a long period of time, I have used Mad Eye lures before they, I think before they were sold to Halco. I mean, I might have the details wrong here, but I think I know the ones. The Mad Eye paddle prawn plastics. I think I had some as well. I think, yeah, I'm pretty sure I had some. I don't know how I ended up getting them, but I think I had some Mad Eye paddle prawns, and they were pretty good. Small plastics, caught plenty of brim, flatties, etc., etc. Yeah, but yeah, I'm gonna have a look at that range shortly, right after this stream, Shane. So that, yeah, interesting. But that's like coming full circle there. Ian Burdenshaw, G'day, mate. How's it going? He says, congrats on being the Australian Lure Fishing Podcast. Greg Vinyl's premier fishing podcast. I'm going to call it the premier podcast. That's got to be the best in Australia. It's got my vote of confidence. Even though I have a podcast myself, yeah, that one takes the cake. My one's a bit of fun. So yeah. And yeah. So stoked to be on that one, Ian. So I'm glad he invited me on. More than happy to do it. And I think that there's got to be more coming up too. So that won't be the only time. I don't think. I'm in the process of getting him on this show too. So he's already agreed to come on. So if you guys have any questions, start thinking about those questions, because the interviewer, he's going to be the interviewee next time. So we're going to ask him. So now we're not going to grill him, of course. So yeah. So the idea is just invite him on, have some fun, talk about a few things, see what he catches. Ask him, hey, so what's your top 3 lures? What's your top 3 lures for the species that you like to catch, or what's out of all the guests that you've had, what interests you, etc., etc. He's got to have some stories. Absolutely. So I'd like to see what he's got to say to some of those questions, and your questions too, of course. That's what makes this podcast the way it is. It's the people watching. You guys can drop down any question anytime, and I just answer on the fly. There's no notebook here, is there? So yeah, that's just right off the dome, yo, as I say. Bit of a lame joke there. Anyway, next up, Levi says, what do you suggest for beginner's rod? I'm looking to get one. Beginners or beginners? If you're talking about the very basic beginners, $60 rod. Daiwa make I think a Daiwa Ed, I think it is. Is it a Daiwa Ed, $60? There's a few rods in that range, $60 rods. And Shimano, I think they make a couple as well. They make the Sonic Pro. They make the Katana. I've owned the Sonic Pro. It's caught me a mull away, so good rods. Katana, I recommend, look into the Katana. I think it's about $60. If you're talking about like entry level lure fishing beginner, as in like still going to cost a bit of coin, $100, $120 rod. You're looking at Fluga Tryon. That's the one I've got. You're looking at the Shimano, what's it called? Shimano Lure Project. I don't know if they still make those. I think they're pretty good. Shimano Radar. That's the name. I don't know why it took me that long to even conjure up that famous lure range. And yeah, Daiwa make a slightly more expensive, but probably a little bit more crisp than the other ones. That's the ever popular TD Hyper. Shares what's it called, the HVF Nano Blank with some of the higher end rods as well. So here are some examples. Generation Black, sorry, not Generation Black. They call it the TD Black now. So the TD Black at about $220 has the same blank. TD Zero has HVF. My Saltiga rod, it's not exactly the same because the wrapping and all that makes a big difference, but essentially my Saltiga rods are HVF 98% carbon. So that's it's the least money you can buy to get that quality of a blank. So there are some options there. So the really beginner level, where you just want to buy what's the cheapest available that's going to do the job, $60 rods. And then if you're trying to think of, okay, what's a beginner level, but not like bottom of the barrel scraping that kind of price bracket, you're looking at about $100, $120. Here we go. Next one. Nathan's been here for a while. Has he got a question for me? He says, Shroom, next time you go chasing brim, use the MMD splash prawn. I don't know, Nathan. I hate using them because they're so good. The last time I used it, I lost it to a kingfish. And I know that was it. I had like 3 casts, I think. I had like, not too many casts. That video that I made with a pack attack with like 100 kings, it swam around like 10 times. I lost every single surface lure I had, bar one. When I had to like pretty much go, and they kind of left the place after that brief manic period. So I know how they work. They work very well. They're very stable. They're very heavy, so they sit in the water extremely well. Even if there's a bit of chop, I think that's what makes them so effective. And being a unique shape, the fish, they haven't they don't have a defense to that. Anytime you bring out a new lure type, it's going to have a short period when it's extremely effective, and then slowly over time it kind of like the status quo establishes, and it's going to be a good lure, but it's not like back in the day when it first cast out and you'd hook up straight away. So yeah, those lures fantastic. I'll probably have to order some more, but yeah, I lost it to a kingfish that day. Here we go, next one. Any places in the harbor for good kingfish, says Yaz. Anywhere down from Gladesville, you're looking at regular run-ins with kingfish at this stage. Summer, late spring, summer, that's normally kingfish season. Plenty of reports right now. Plenty of reports east of Gladesville. There's some reports west of Gladesville as well, but I'm not going to recommend going into like places that you may or may not see them. You're definitely 100% going to run into them at some stage of the day if you're at a particular spot east of that spot there, east of the Gladesville Bridge. Bit of rain right now. I don't know if that's going to change anything, but hasn't been significant yet. If it's going to rain, I mean, I've got headphones on, so I can't really hear it if it's raining heavy. But yeah, I don't think it's raining right now. I don't think it's raining all that much. Probably just a bit of light rain. It's not going to change the complexion of the harbor. So look, if you want some really obvious places, just hit any of the harbor wharves early in the morning. Try to bring your best game. Bring some squid bait or bring like some lures, and yes, just have a go, because you'll find that people that turn up will say, yeah, they were here yesterday, they were here the day before, they should be coming around like yesterday, they were here, at 3 p.m. or 9 a.m., whatever. It's got to happen. You just got to get out there, really. Novo. Oh, how's it going, Andreas? He says, hey, Shroom, can you make a music cover on the Team C song? Oh, that is such a catchy song. I don't know if you guys have been aware, but I'm a part of the Team C's project, which is spearheaded by a bunch of really popular YouTubers and some other personnel. Some of the YouTubers you may have heard of include Mr. Beast and Mark Robo, and so many more that are part of it. I'm just one creator amongst hundreds and maybe even thousands, and we're just lending our support. I'm just lending my support to raise funds to basically fund 2 non-profit organizations to collect rubbish from rivers and from the ocean. Now, obviously, it's not going to solve the problem, but at the end of the day, we're all doing something. I'm using my influence to draw attention to, we're all fishermen here. So I think that out of all the creators, me being in this particular area makes me have a special, it's got a special place in my heart, the health of our oceans and our wildlife. And so that's why I did it. And obviously there's people donating their time and their money to making this work, and somebody donated their time and made a music cover, and it's a really catchy song. So I don't know if I can sing it. I'm pretty bad on the vocals, even though I've been told this microphone is the same one Michael Jackson sang Thriller on. But he's 100% talent, and I got to scratch my head relating to myself though. All right, here we go. Okay, so hopefully I haven't missed any donations, because I can see there's 2 things up there. Let me move this chat down. I don't know why it doesn't keep moving down. Is it moving down? Okay, it is. All right, perfect. This is like 3-4 screens I'm looking at. I'm looking at 2 physical screens and a bunch of tabs. There's also Facebook there too. I'm just going to quickly check that. So make sure you smash the like button. And yeah, bring down your questions. And like I said, next week I'm going to be back live as well. Back live next week. So yeah, I hope you guys are hanging for that one. More fun like every Shroom live. And let me know if you guys got any suggestions. I'm always opening to improving. I think I think so long as we're having fun, that's all that matters, right? Michael says, damn internet up the poo. Well, maybe it's because of the rain. My internet does go a bit iffy when it's pouring. But yeah, could be that. Here we go. Let's keep going down. Next one here. Let's see. Well, and Brownie, you're going away. You're going away fishing this weekend. Where's everyone's invite here? And what are you chasing after that? Let's do it. Okay, so talk about somebody else. Um, yeah, I mean, next weekend got the live stream, but the weekend after that, I'm hoping to do something big. Let's keep going down. Okay, MMD question here. Frank Lewis says, "Hey, Shroom, I use 1 meter lures for kingies. Do you?" I've seen a 1 meter lure before. It's a Rapala. It's massive. It's ornamental. I don't know if I owned one. Would I even bother casting that piece? Look, it looked like it was a good ornament, a good thing to just position on top of a fireplace, display cabinet or something like that. There are lures that big. I know it sounds like this could be a joke. Yeah, it's probably a joke comment, but I treat it seriously. There are big lures out there. Rob says, "Yeah, the Shroom." Yeah, that's me. Jeez, my throat's going a bit bad. Got to look after that Michael Jackson-esque voice right there. No, not really. I wish I had the voice like Frank Sinatra, though, on a more serious note. And yeah, I might be doing a song one day because I lost a bet. I would have mentioned it on one of my previous live streams. Michael Kang says, "Hi, mate. Not sure if anyone has asked this before. What do you think of the live action multi-jointed lures worth buying?" Live target, live action. I mean, when I think of live action, I'm thinking of like movies. I don't know. Or maybe I've got the wrong idea. Multi-jointed. Yeah, I have to look into that. I think like the way I see multi-jointed lures is that they move like a snake. Everything just turns into a snake-like shape. Not that it's bad, but that's kind of like how I see it. It's more like a worm snake action, and they all kind of look the same. A lot of the times they're lizard patterns or fish patterns that swim like a snake, or even actual snake patterns like cod lures. I think like I guess I want to add here like lures that are multi-jointed. They look ornamental to me, like those what do you call them? What's that name? How could I forget? This style of fishing kind of took off in the last maybe 3-4 years. I can't remember the name of the lure. We'll get back to that one though. But some of you guys might know what I'm talking about. Swim baits, that's right, swim baits. Swim bait lures, it hasn't been very popular. It always seemed to be a gimmick, but the last 3-4 years I've seen people start applying it not just to cod, but everything else. Like mulloway was one of those next steps. And, these lures are extremely expensive and they're slow sinkings. And I don't know how adaptable they are to deep water fishing, but, people have caught plenty of mulloway on that. Bass as well. So normally swim bait lures, they're large and they weigh, let's say, somewhere between 40 grams to 80 grams. They're really heavy. People have been making small swim baits and catching, your regular Australian bass, bass in the 30s to 40s and 50s. So even for small fish like that. So yeah, that's actually quite interesting. Just looking at how the landscape has changed regarding lure fishing there. I personally haven't really taken the plunge because if you really want an arsenal of these lures, it's gonna cost you. So basically, like I said before, if you lose a swim bait and it's worth like $50 to $80, you're losing a rod in the one hit. So you better be tying on about 150 pounds to the end of that. So yeah. Tristan says, "Shroom, I lost a 60 to 70 king at the Cooks River, reeling in a super bad cast. All right. And as I was about to lift my plastic up out of the water and smashed it at my feet, fought it for like 6 minutes, bricked me. Yeah, I mean, good on you for getting the hook up when you're winding in. So when you're winding in and you see a fish come up, just drop that rod, stop winding, the brim, whatever it is, will come up and smash it. And yeah, speaking about that, one of the viewers yesterday told me that that's exactly what happened to him when he caught a mulloway at night. He was winding in his slim swims, and just before he was lifting it out, just as he was about to lift it out of the water and clear the surface, bang, he saw the shape of a massive Jew take it. And yeah, he was on his knees praying that he wouldn't get popped off, and he eventually ended up landing an 87 centimeter mulloway on his brim combo, 1 to 3 kilogram. And you know, it wouldn't have been heavy leader and line because he was fishing for brim. So yeah, that's exactly what happened to you. You got ambushed straight up as you're about to lift it in. King smashed it. It was already on the charge, so it didn't stop basically. So it hit it with movement, and that momentum just carried it to the next snag. Oh, that's so bad. But yeah, they've been around in the Cooks River. I'll tell you that much. They've been around in botany. You guys saw what happened in that video that I put up 2 weeks ago. Yeah, so if you guys haven't seen that one, I was out with Shuey. We loaded up the boat with some live calamari. We got plenty from dark up until maybe the first half hour. The sun was just coming up. I think we got about 20 squid, something like that. There was so many, and we ran out of squid. Went to Molly Point, got dusted a few times. I got smoked on 30 pounds. So obviously 30 pound wasn't even enough for some of those fish. Had to up it to 60 pound, and pretty much like fish my reel to its capacity. And yeah, the reel was struggling. Smooth, but struggling under the fact that I couldn't really let out an inch because they're going to get you. They're going to get you on the rough bottom, 10, 12 meters down. They find it. So plenty in the bay, plenty in all the obvious places. I reckon they're all around the markers right now in botany. They're pushing up through Tarrant Point. They're up in the Cooks. I've seen, I guess for the last 2 months now, I've seen reports, photos, videos, even up the Cooks Riverway, even up that little river. They're going up there for whatever reason. So that's the botany Cooks / Georgia system. And then you've got the harbour, which is the ever reliable waterway. And yeah, kings everywhere, all over the wharves, headlands, etc. Markers, you name it. It's king season. It's kicking off. It's exciting. I want to get back out there. I want to tick off a meter kingfish one day. That's my goal. It's a big ask. If the fishing gods will see it within themselves to grant me that wish one day, I don't mind working for it for the next 10 years. But one day I'd like to tick that off. That would be so good. And jigging, that's something that I really want to do when it comes to fishing for kings. I really like being pushed physically. So I like doing shark fishing. I'm a glutton for punishment when I go brim fishing. You'll see that I'm walking kilometers and kilometers because I don't know, it just feels good. Get out there, experience what you have. If you're fishing urban waters, Sydney bays, people about, and there's development and housing and all that, hey, that's fine. And we all live around these waterways. Doesn't mean we can't go out there and have some fun. We don't need to travel 2-3 hours up or down the coast and fish some pristine waters. I can have fun fishing in dirty, polluted water, or I can have fun fishing off some nice bank with nobody or with everybody. It's just it's how you want to fish, and that's what makes it great. Let's keep going down. Yeah, Horo says, keen anytime, bro. I don't know if that's about me. Sedona, yes, Sedona, good reel. I don't know if that's about anything that I said. Sedona, I think it's about in the $100 price bracket. Super reliable, solid reel. Trong Nguyen says, when are you doing a catch and cook? Look, if you guys keep asking this summer, that's when I kind of planned it. All year I've been thinking about if there's a good time to do a catch and cook, it's going to be in the summer. Maybe keep something off some clean water. Put my cooking skills to the test. And as much of a high opinion you guys have of my fishing, think in reverse for my cooking, because I don't know how to cook. Maybe 2-minute noodles and fry an egg and all that. But we'll see how that goes. But I guarantee you guys will be entertained and interested in how I get that done. Jason Gaston says, g'day Shroom, love watching your videos. Botany Bay, Georges River, having fished there for over 25 years. Geez, that's a long time. Plus, keep up the good work. Cheers, Jason. Thank you very much. You must know the river extremely well. It's changed in all that time. Even I've seen in the several years that I fished it. The Georges River is the first river that I came to understand and love. I've always associated, every time people mention the Georges River, I think of, that mighty brown river system that just curls and winds its way upstream. And you've got skinny water fishing, you've got, narrow channels, and you've got all kinds of mullet and mulloway just lurking in between, and heaps of brim and flatties. These days, the kings are pushing up past those places too, which is incredible. I don't know what's changed, but maybe it's the stocking system, the way that we're looking after our fishies, the size limits, maybe the bag limits being reduced. But these days, kingfish are almost everywhere in the Georges as well. That in your 25 years, I mean, you might remember some times when they pushed that far up, but me, I haven't fished it for nearly as long. But yeah, that's one eye-opening thing that I've noticed. And yeah, if anyone has any stories about that, yeah, drop them down. Like, I've heard of, not just about kingfish, but I've heard of things like sea turtles making their way up toward Chipping Northern Lakes. That's incredible. Sea turtles. Like, I saw one on the Parramatta River system. I must say, I think it was last year. I put up a video, and it was just laying against the side of the artificial like bank. Because all these bays in Sydney Harbour, they're, if they didn't build the wall right up to the water, we'd be walking up, many hundreds of meters, because it'll be across a flat and it would just slowly increase. But because it brings you up there, the turtle was just laying in the water next to the seagrass. That was a cool sight. And I've also heard of things like seals go up, believe it or not. That might get a reaction in the chat. Seals up, at least one seal up in Chipping Norton in the brown water doing laps. Tall stories, but true, I guess. We'll see. But yeah, that's what I've been told from some really close friends. Unbelievable. You'd never believe that. And yeah, well, we'll get to the next question. And Brownie has put some more support down. Thank you very much, sir. Really appreciate it. Hope you're enjoying the show. Hope everyone's enjoying the show. And if you are, make sure you hit that like button. And yeah, let's carry on. Let's carry on here. Here we go. I'll probably scroll back up in a moment, but let's just have a look down here first, because Ian's got a good question that people might want to hear. Says, do you ever look at a hard body lure in a store and think this lure could be something special if I change the hooks for a lighter set? Some lures are killed with the wrong hardware. Yeah, I mean, I guess in a way, I mean, I don't think of it like that. I look at a lure and think, okay, have they designed this around the species that they're listing on this blurb? You read the blurb and it says, this lure, whatever it's called, catches, and then they list like literally from A to Z every single species of fish that might belong in the Sydney fresh and saltwater area. They'll go redfin trout, brim, cod, jewfish, mulloway, salmon, and you know that, okay, well, I don't know if they really thought very hard about what the target of these lures are. But yeah, that's kind of like what I think when I look at a lure, and I try to think of, okay, what does this look like? What does this remind me of? Does this look like it'd be more effective than the market leader or whatever I think is good? And then if it's clear, I try to see inside and say, oh, so that's how they designed where they're going to put those little ball bearings and that weight. If I tilt the lure, is that all going to like shift to one end, or is that going to be like restricted to certain areas of the lure? I just want to pay attention to details like that, especially if it's transparent, because once it's painted, you can't see anything really, right? There's nothing you can see internally in how the lure is put together and where the weight is distributed. But when it's clear, you certainly can. About changing hooks, I do look at that when I look at some vibes, and I think, oh, imagine if I just put on a trailing stinger hook on that. That looks like it's gonna, smash the whiting or whatever it is that I'm thinking of at the time. So yeah, I do think about, various things, but it's not, I wouldn't say it's always about changing hooks, but yeah, how I think the lure is constructed, that does interest me. By looking at it, I can say to myself, okay, well, the bib's rather large. Those weights aren't really moving, so it's probably going to be pretty stable if I twitch it. It's not just all going to end up in the front of the bib and be nose down. It's going to be pretty level. Things like that. I think about like things like that. if it's got a big bib and, you know, the balls move around and it's all one chamber, I might think, okay, that's a bit, you know, is that intended? Is that like a long cast version? Is that because if I try to cast that, it's all on the one end and it makes the tail of the lure face the wind when I'm casting rather than turn around with the bib? Because that's extremely important when it comes to the deeper diving lures. Having a bib which is very large catches the wind often, and you're just not getting that distance, right? And so yeah, that's the problem right there with that. Australian Casting says, "Hey Shroom, I'm camping and fishing at the Nepean River." Oh, excellent. You're staying there to chase some bass, chase some. Well, I guess there's also carp up there as well. Not that I not that they should be there. Hopefully you get a few. You can get some of them out of the system. Damn seal, says El Haj. Yeah, that's right. I wonder how it even ended up there. Maybe next time someone will see a marlin up there. maybe. That's a dream. Fishing. Oh, there we go. Coming with the jokes. Everyday comedian David says, "Talk about a seal of approval." That's right. The brown water got a tick. Doing laps around those artificial lakes up in Chipping Norton. Man, those islands. I haven't fished all those islands, and I've been to Chipping Norton like hundreds of times. More often land based than on the boat, but there's just so much to explore up that way. It's like brown water Botany Bay, really. Once you head away from the boat ramps, you're out in the middle of nowhere. Look 360 degrees around you and it all looks the same. And there's several of these islands around, and I rarely see people fishing them. There's got to be so much opportunity. I think on the eastern side there's like some cool, strange shaped islands too, so rarely see anyone heading out that way. Tristan Lee says, "Seeing seals in the bay is a sad sight because they scare the fish, but a good sight in a way." Yeah, that's like in my my last video chasing kingfish. The first thing I don't want to do is come across a seal. I feel like the seal scares the kingfish away, but at the same time, the seal being there means that the kingfish are definitely there. Like the seal is feeding on big predators. They're not feeding on tiny fish. Bait fish is not going to keep them around. Yakkers is not going to keep them around. Salmon's going to keep them around. Kingfish is going to keep them around. Jewfish is going to keep them around. I've seen videos of seals. I think it was in Sydney Harbour. I've seen 2 videos, and they'll film the same instance of, I think it was a school of seals, or at least a couple of seals, and they had rounded up a school. Okay, not a school of seals, sorry. Like maybe a couple of seals. They were rounding up a school of mulloway, and they pushed them to the surface, and you could see them just all bunched up. And they were taking turns going in there, grabbing them, and just like smashing them against the surface of the water, just flinging their heads. And you can see mulloway getting thrown left and right. And my jaw dropped when I saw that. That was like, what? What is that? Like, that's like, how often do you see something like that? It was on a video. I've never seen it in real life, but in a video, it just changes your perception. Incredible. Like, I don't know how many people have, that story there that I just mentioned. I don't know how many people would have known about things like that without that video. I wouldn't have known about that. It's incredible. All right, let's keep going down here. So Captain's here, good loving the videos at the moment. Let's keep going down here. Okay, plenty of comments. Yeah, guys, talk amongst yourselves, of course. I like it. I like it when that happens. Everyone's got something to say. And Brownie says, when it comes to Hardbodies, it's good to watch lives and videos of what everyone else is having success with. Internet is great. Yeah, great for learning. Yeah, that's right. Absolutely. I've watched plenty of videos in my time. I've watched those really old, what is it? What's his name? Adam Reuter, Mad Dog. The ones where he used the 3V fat dogs. Everyone's seen that. I'm sure everyone's seen that. That was like pretty much one of the only videos around at that time. And just watching him go through, all the techniques and stuff. That's how I learned. Facebook user says Gilligan's Island. Is that one of sounds like a movie? Or is that one of those islands on on Shipping Norton? Someone please confirm that. I mean, I could be off. I'm no movie buff. I'm no movie buff unless it's maybe a fishing video, a fishing movie. Maybe I've seen it. Let's keep going down. Chicken. You sound good. All right, I don't know what's going on here. What's going on in my chat? Yeah, but keep going. Keep carry on, guys. Talk amongst yourselves, of course. Australian casting. Okay, yeah, going back to his camping trip on the Nepean. He's chasing carp. Yeah, I need to tick off the meter carp. I've seen pictures all over Facebook. I don't know how people do it. It must be the spot. Maybe certain spots that they grow that big. But geez, my personal best is in the mid 80s, and that was a slab of a carp. That's a lot of fish going around. When you're talking about like anything in the 70s and 80s, that's a lot of, like, you're not holding on your fingertips and outstretched, because if you're outstretched, it's pulling your body down. It's got weight. Those things have weight, plenty of weight. And yeah, that's a tip, guys. If you ever see like someone holding up a fish really close to the camera, try to guess how heavy the fish is, and if you think it's heavier than what you could hold out stretched, like if they're holding a 30-kilogram kingfish and they're doing that, it's not 30 kilograms, right? There's no way. There's no way. I don't care if you're Arnold Schwarzenegger, you're not holding, or you're Chris Bumstead or whoever, one of these super strong man like Brian Shaw. Oh, Brian Shaw. Okay, Brian Shaw could do it. If you guys know who he is, hit the like button. I love that guy. Unless you're Brian Shaw and you're holding up a bottle of water and making it look like just a little medicine container, then it's gonna weigh a lot. All right, let's address this first. Michael, he says, gotta go, keep up the good work, brother, and he's left me some change. Thank you very much, Michael. Really appreciate it. Thanks for everything that you do for the channel and all that. If you guys don't know, he's a moderator. He looks after and gets rid of all the bad comments. Not that we get many. I do like a few random comments here and there. Just spices up the show, right? It's all good and fun. But yeah, hope you have a good night, Michael. And yeah, thanks for joining this week. And next week, of course, I'm going to be back on with another live stream, Shroom Live podcast with the Shrooms. Fishing with Dave says, where is the tax man hiding? Hopefully when I throw out a live bonito with Terry, Taxman won't be hiding, because we really love our shark fishing, and we haven't been doing it ever since Weeper trip ended. We've been talking about it. We've been frothing over it. I've got some shark rigs tied up. It's all crimped down. Those hooks are like the size of, like, you can fit on your palm. They're like massive, super heavy gauge hooks, and they're on, I don't know what pound leader. They're probably like on, actually it's not even leader, it's wire, it's crimped wire. So that's gonna make a video. Might have to roll up the sleeves, the long sleeve shirts. You guys know I like my long sleeve shirts. It's just, I don't know why, but I just always end up gravitating towards that. Might have to roll up the long sleeve shirts and get down and dirty and pump that fish in. So fun. Good exercise. Good night with the mates. Nothing better than just kicking back at night and just like everyone taking turns on a big shark. Here we go. Next up. Oh geez, there's a few things here. Let's find the next question. Michael says, mate, was about to head out to fish Sydney North Shore as the show got my heart pumping. Really cold with strong wind and rain at the moment. You still going to venture out to fish after the show? Look, I think I'm still going to head out because I don't hear the rain. If the wind's strong, I'll probably see if I can sneak around somewhere. Yeah, that's what I'll be doing. I'm probably 90% committed still. So unless it's like really bad and everyone pulls out, and okay, then I probably won't go out. But yeah, it's fishing. Like, who knows? Always go out there, have fun. If you pick the most pleasant conditions, you're going to be working, because that's it. That's like, there's always something going in the way. You got to mow the lawn, you got to work, you got to go fix this, you got to go fix that. You got an evening free. What did I do? Paid you guys back for the Shroom Live. That's the first priority. All the diehard supporters, I put my time up. I put my time, put myself up, prepare for the show. It takes me ages to prepare. That's why I'm on time. That's why, I've got, all the equipment and all that. And of course, thanks to all the donations that like this microphone itself cost me like $800. And obviously no donations that I've received would even cover nearly even a quarter of this. But that's what I did. First thing I was like, yep, I could probably, I've got this much that I can spend on it. All right, I got an extra couple bucks thanks to all the supporters. That's me in. I'm going to just go buy it, improve the quality of the show. And yeah, that's how I see that. And yeah, right after this show, who knows? Maybe the wind and rain is not such a bad thing. Not such a bad thing at all. So I'll see, like I said, I still intend to head out. El Haj crying, laughing, tears emoji. Something must be very funny. Let me on the joke, El Haj. Donna Fish Ray. Oh, Donna, hi, how's it going? How's it going, Donna? Hope you're having a wonderful night. Hope Stewie's having a wonderful night. It's been a good one here. It's been good to come back on. I read the comments on Fish Ray. Haven't been able to get back to everyone. Just been really busy preparing for this live stream. So hopefully anyone that's from Fish Radar that's here tonight, shout out to you. Shout out to Donna, Stewie, and Fish Radar, and everyone watching from there. Ian says, I was thinking more how some lures seem to come with heavier or larger hooks than what is really needed, and most seem to be the other way. All right, well, the first thing that came to my mind was, say the Bass Day Sugar Pen as an example. The, I think, is it the 60 or 70 millimeter version comes with some slightly thicker and stronger hooks than most people would like. I'd say only because, in Sydney, using lures that size, we're chasing brim and whiting on top. So, that heavier gauge hook there isn't. It's not the perfect fit for the 1 to 3 kilogram or 2 to 4 kilogram rods in setting the hook. A, B, the size of the mouth of these fish, they're rather small, and so we'd rather smaller, stickier hooks than stronger, beefier hooks. And so that's why. And yeah, you're right. That totally makes sense there. Because that time when I was throwing them for brim, I did think that, yeah, they're a little bit tougher, but it means that they might last a little bit longer. They weren't too big still, but yeah, definitely if you have a preference for certain styles of hooks and certain gauges, I think the gauge is important. If it's too thick, you're gonna miss. You're not gonna pin that fish as easily than the stickier hooks. But then again, it means that you're probably not gonna get your trebles munched up as often. Like that time worked out perfectly for me. I was throwing those lures and yeah, kingfish came by. I didn't land them, but hey, heavier gauge, perfect for kings. A little bit, not as appropriate for brim. But let's say that I catch a salmon, better for salmon. So. Yeah, I guess definitely that's a great point, Ian. Ian Brownie says, Shrooms, when it comes to brim, do you like keeping the lure moving or small and long pauses or 2 long pauses? Or so you're saying like if I can only choose 2 extremes, it has to be moving or extremely long pauses. Extremely long pauses, yeah, that'd be my pick more often than not. The only reason why I would say the long pauses may not be appropriate is if you're looking to move spots and cover water. So instead of trying to finesse that really tough bite, you can make up for it because there's only X amount of algae on the water. You can fish fresh water that hasn't seen your lure yet. And that's just as effective. So yeah, there are a couple of ways to address the situation. If you're not getting luck, move faster because you're covering more ground till you find out where the fish are holding. Or B, you're not getting the bite, so you have to slow it down to give them a little bit more time to stalk that lure, decide on it, smell it, have a look around it, not be afraid that it's gonna fly in their face and, spook them. Because brim, they're so spooky. You lift them above their eye level and they could dart away from the lure. I don't understand why, but that's just that's just their temperament. Keeping it moving. I guess like for soft plastics, we're talking about soft plastics, right? Yeah, for hard bodies, I'd keep it moving. You kind of have to keep it moving. If it's a floater, If it's a suspending lure, yeah, you can throw in some pauses, but most of the easy to use lures, they're floaters, and you just pretty much wind them to depth, and you sustain that depth by maintaining that winding motion. Braden's fishing world. Hey Shroom, have you ever hooked or caught? Okay, I just stuffed up there. I'll get back to that question. Yeah, John says we all appreciate your time and effort, Shroom. Thanks, John. Appreciate that. Size 10, yes, size 10 trebles, size 12, size 14. Somewhere around there. 14 on the small side, 10 on the beefy, strong side, and 12 is probably right in the middle. Depends on the brands as well. Owners. What else are there? Yeah, you guys know what I'm talking about. There's plenty of brands out there. Milad, Allah. Sorry if I butchered your name. He says, "What's the best lure for kings?" Um, I've caught most of my kingfish on brim lures, and the few times that I've caught kings on larger lures have been on metals, 4-5 inch jerk shads from Berkeley, but nothing massive. I think if you're talking about king lures that a lot of people do like to use, we're talking Bass Day sugar pens in the 95mm size. Daiwa, what's that suspending one called again? The 95mm suspending minnow style lure. That one, I've come across several people that have told me that when the kings are on, they've been smashing that lure. With an upgrade of trebles required, of course. That's what I've been told. Sluggos, that's like a bit of a super long plastic, really floppy jerk shad style plastic. That's a plastic everyone knows about. Yeah, they're the best ones, I'd say. Halco, Rooster Poppers. I mean, Kings they aren't so picky, so a lot of things work. Mario loaded, sinking stick bait. If you're gonna do it off the rocks, FCLs. All those big stick baits, basically. Yeah, for myself, like I said. Z-Man grubs, Z-Man slims. Oh, you name it. Oh, yeah, metals and all that stuff as well. Of course. But yeah, that's when I get ambushed. And those Bass Day sugar pens, geez, they pick them up like anything. They're like magnets. Tomo 70, Vibalicious have perfect size trebles. Had a mate hold a 110 Dewey on them, but you can catch brim on them. The what is that size? 65mm, isn't it? Tom, I think it's a 65 or 75. The one that has the trailing treble that's embedded in the bottom anal fin. That is the perfect design, because normally, if you think about it, if you've got two trebles dangling, it kind of looks like it's going to affect the action of the lure, and it does detract from the shape of it. But the way they've done that is fantastic. Like I've seen those plastics. I've seen, like, I fished with some friends and they've caught. Yeah, not a 110, of course. No, nothing like a 110. But we've caught a couple of mulloway in the one session just on those plastics, on those vibes. Sorry. There's a silver one with glitter, and then there's a brown one with glitter. They're my two favorites, and I've seen them both pin mulloway. What color did your mate pin the 110 on? That's a quality fish. That would make my decade. I not only do I need a meter king, I need a meter mulloway. Meter mulloway. Come right here, baby. 1 meter 10. That'll go down well. El Hadj says Milad Sugar Pen 95. Yeah. That lure, so good. Absolutely. I think I was using the 95. I lost that as well. I was using a 36kg combo, because that day I was using the brim combo, but then I went back to the car, as you did, as you would, and bring the heavier artillery, NRX with my, was it Stellar or Strake? I can't remember now, and tied on the bigger sugar pen. But unfortunately, I hooked an even bigger king than the one that got me in the end. And yeah, it just ended up smoking me on the run. Oh, that hurts just thinking about it. Oh, that was my last year last year's experience with the Kings. All right, Muhammad Barbour. Hi, how's it going? Haven't seen you or stream. He says, what do you think of the new Saltist MQ reel? What size do you recommend for kingfish? Look, the Saltist, I think if you want to pay for a reel that has a little bit extra, it's got the cosmetics, it's got a little bit more of the luxuries. Fantastic reel. That blue color, just all the little details. I think it's like a fine piece of art. It's like jewelry. Yeah, you can't go wrong. It's a really tough reel. But you really don't have to spend that much to get that kind of performance from Daiwa these days. Like I said earlier, the BG does pretty much the same level of performance without all the fancy extras. But yeah, that Saltus is so nice. Monocoque, MQ, whatever. It's got everything. What size do you recommend for kingfish? 4,000 and up. Just whatever style you're looking at. If you're looking at casting towards kings, having a not so heavy combo where you can kind of use it for salmon or dropping a bait, that kind of style, bit of casting of plastics, a bit of casting of spinning for metals. Yeah, go 4. If you wanna maybe down rig or drop a bait down, use it as a live bait combo, then yeah, go up a size, because it's not going to be held in your hand, and you're going to want that extra capacity to put on some heavier braid and just lock that drag up. You get more performance out of that. So yeah, can't go wrong, Muhammad. Fantastic reel. I would love a reel like that. I've got the Catalina. It's a bit older, nowhere near as fancy, and yeah, those reels just go and go. AK Mike's got a Saltist. He's got the Saltist reel and the rod, and in the hand with that ball knob, fantastic. You just feel like you can winch anything in. Michael Kang says, Shroom, would you consider doing a live broadcast during one of your fishing sessions? I have considered. I've actually done it in the past. I've done at least one in the past before. The only problem is I found that you can see how I talk a lot, so I'm always here in front of the phone, and so if I'm in front of the phone, I'm missing bites, not paying attention to the rod. So I think if I ever do it again, it would probably be with some people that I'm fishing with, so that there's always something going on, so I don't have to feel like I have to be manning the chat 100% of the time. But I would do it again. I've done it before. So there's one of it where I was with AK and Mike, and we're fishing in North Queensland, somewhere up north on one of the wharves, and we caught we didn't catch very much, unfortunately, but it was there were brim, pinkies, leather jackets, I think a batfish here and there. It was just like, it wasn't the best. It wasn't the best experience, but we were getting something with our live prawns. Top quality bait, but the kings didn't come through. PP Long Stocking says, love you, Shroom. Love you too. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you for supporting the show. I love comments like that. Milad says, hey Shroom, what's a good lures for flathead? Yes, I mentioned it earlier, but I'll just be quick here, so just not to bore everyone. The 80mm squidgy fish in silver fox color, and the Berkeley 5-inch jerk shad in nuclear chicken. They're my top 2. Let's keep going down. Any tip? Captain Solid Bone says, any tips for dead baiting kings in botany? Yes, squid. I think almost every single time I've brought squid there, fresh dead squid, it's been on. You don't even have to make it complicated. When I've been with Stewie out there, we've been putting it on jig heads, believe it or not, like half-ounce jig heads, 3/8 ounce jig heads, dropping just a piece of squid, fresh squid. It's not even cut up properly. It can be like the size of a 50-cent coin, and then you could be on. So that's how easy it is. The big kings do take small baits as well. If there's anything that I think is important when it comes to fishing bait, you have to use fresh squid. I think squid is probably one of the baits that goes off the quickest. I mean, you can't even freeze it in a certain way. People say, you can get freezer burn on it. They could get spoiled by being exposed to air or fresh water. There's so many things. Basically, whatever you're doing to it, you're spoiling it. So that's my attitude when it comes to that. So the fresher you can get, if you can get it, that if you can get the squid that you've just caught an hour earlier, that's as pretty much as fresh as you can get. If it's dead fresh like that, if the kings are around, they're definitely going to hit that. You can try first up by stripping it up, maybe into maybe 2-3 centimeter width and length of about, let's say that's what, 5+ centimeters. You can start with that. Something a little bit, not massive, but something a little bit there that's going to interest them, and yeah, change it up. If you find they're not switched on to that, but you're getting bites, maybe reduce the size or whatever. You know, it works. Squid is easily my favorite bait when it comes to kingfish. Live and then dead. Yeah, dead squid is so good. It's unbelievable. Oh, guys, you guys know who this is? This is Stewie. Say hi to Stewie. He says, "What's the best squid you color?" Oh, Stewie. Oh, mate. This question is the biggest can of worms. For what I've seen, the botany system fires on jigs that have like a combination of 3 colors. So, as an astute learner of the art of squid fishing, I've noticed that brown, green, and orange, in those 3 colors, whether it's predominantly one color or a dual color or some kind of a mix, like say a seaweed brown, orange, you know, that kind of color seems to work the best in the botany system. Now, when it comes to the harbor, right, it's all out the window. It's like every time I fish the harbor, it's like pinks and blues and all kinds of other colors. And the jigs too, I'm using like 3.0s often. I'm using the Yamashita 3.0s. I'm using the Yaziri. I forgot what they're called, the shrimp ones, the ones that look like shrimp. They've got the plastic legs. Those ones seem to do extremely well in the harbor. Hacking, the big jigs as well, and the hacking. I don't know what it is, but 3.0s. I really like my 3.0s, but for some reason when it comes to botany, those 2.2s, size 2s, 2.2s and stuff, in those 3 colors. Yeah, Stewie's got like pretty much 100 jigs and 90 of them are of those 3 colors. All right. PP Longstocking says, "Where's Rexy?" We'll be back with the Fishing Hub live stream shortly. I forgot the date. I should know it. I think it's December 12th, but don't quote me on that one. We're coming back. We're coming back shortly. Back on to the Fishing Hub live stream. So if you catch that one, thanks for watching that one. This is my usual one. If this is your first time here, I do this once a month, but it's been a couple of months since I've done this one, since I've been preoccupied with that one. Sam Fishing, hey Shroom, I was wondering what good colors for dark brown water for flathead and brim. Dark brown water, if you're talking upriver, that first suggestion that I gave, so I've had this is my 3rd time answering it, the squidgy fish in 80mm in silver fox. That's the best. That mimics, that replicates, that resembles, that smells like, I don't know, everything about it. It screams mullet. And if you're looking brown water, that's mullet territory. So that's why I think that's the reason why it's so effective up that way. So Sam, give that one a go. Now, obviously, you don't have to get that particular lure. I think any paddle tail in the darker water is good. You want that action coming through. The visibility is a bit lower. The fish patterns seem to be very effective up that way because, like I said, mullet seems to be the main bait source up in the rivers. You've got other things like herring as well. So you could try, and tailor sometimes. You could try some more silver lures, but they're all basically silver, black, white, with a bit of red, orange, you know, that kind of coloration. The most natural looking presentation there. All right, we're going to answer a couple more questions, guys, and then I'm going to head out onto the river, and I'll let you guys know how I go if I get something. Pippi says, will you ever do a catch and cook? I'd like to do one this year, so this summer I'm looking into doing one. So hang out for that one. Watch me cook up a storm or watch me cook up a disaster. I'm going to get shreked in the comments because it's going to turn out burnt. We'll see. We'll see. So we'll do that one. Okay, and I need two more fishing questions. Got to get out of here. Okay, a quick comment from Ian Bershaw says, looking forward to you interviewing Doc Lewis. Yes, absolutely. I'm looking forward to that one. Tien Swat says, Shroom, hi, how's it going? All right, two more questions. I mentioned today on Fish Radar that Scratchy, Swordy, and Shroom should do a fishing trip and video. What do you think? We did a hairtail session one time. It was Scratchy and I on the boat, and across on the other side on the next boat. We were tied together, after the first bit of the evening because we were enjoying it so much. Yeah, all three of us. And I think was it who was it? There was one. I think Reggie was there. I mean, I might have the wrong person, but the four of us on the river with the loudest pair of boats on the river, and we were smashing the hairtail that night. That was so good. But yeah, I'd like to do something like that again. Of course, that was insane. Stewie says Olive. Oh, there you go. So, what kind of an astute learner of the squid fishing discipline am I? I didn't even know the right word for that. John says white. Yep, that's it. Okay, last question. Last question. Here we go. Let's go find one here. Last question. Okay, that's another catch and cook. Let's find one more. One more here. Who's got one more question? Oh, there we go. YT Heater says, what's your favorite color for the Z-Man 2.5 grub? All right, I can sign out here because everyone knows what the answer is to that one, but I'll answer it. Watermelon red. I don't know why. It just seems to agree with the way that I fish. It's done the runs for me. Seems to work in almost any situation. It's maybe not the best color in every situation, but I always seem to gravitate towards that. It's a staple. And it's no wonder that when I caught that Jewfish on a hard body, what did the color look like? It looked like watermelon. It looked like watermelon red base. It was green and red, green and orange or something like that with a bit of pearlescent belly. So that was pretty close. All right, guys, I'm going to call it there. Hope you guys enjoyed the Shroom Live podcast. If you did, smash the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell. And if you like watching this always comes up on, I upload it to Spotify and Apple Podcasts, all your favorites. You can go check it out there. It'll be up in the next day or so. And all the older episodes as well. If you ever, go on a long car ride and you want to listen to some fishing rather than radio, go ahead and, load one of the podcasts up. And if you like my fishing videos, head on over right now. Watch some of the vlogs. Watch the one that I uploaded on the Thursday. That was the first time I caught a mulloway on a hard body, and I could never have imagined it. I mean, I have put in the time, so I can't say that I never expected it to happen one day, but to happen in the manner that it did, and after a brutal day, walking at least 5 kilometers, it felt like walking around the equivalent of the whole Thompson Creek Dam solo and not getting a single tap all day. And then just pulling out one last stop, and and then it happened. It was just like all the planets aligned at that one particular moment. So that was a very special video. So yeah, make sure you check that out if you haven't. Thanks to all the people that supported tonight by watching the show first and foremost. Asked the question or dropped a comment or said hello. That's extremely important. And of course, all the people that took the extra step and donated. It helps me keep this show running, and, like the equipment and all that you see around, that's thanks to all you guys out there. And guys, thanks for your support as always, and I'll catch you in the next video. See you later.